The first thing you learn on the frontier worlds is that storms don't care about anyone. Not humans. Not aliens. Not soldiers, scientists, or explorers. Storms simply arrive. And on the desert world of Kalaris 9, storms arrived like the end of the universe. The sky had been strange all afternoon. Thick violet clouds rolled over the horizon like slow-moving mountains. The wind carried sharp grains of metallic sand that hissed against the hulls of our expedition vehicles. Our camp commander, Lieutenant Morales, stood near the sensor mast with binoculars. "Storm fronts accelerating," she muttered. "Everyone secure equipment. Move." Within minutes, the calm desert became chaos. Researchers ran between tents. Engineers anchored generators. Someone shouted about losing drone signal. I tightened the cables on my field tent and checked the emergency heater. Out here, you didn't take chances. Then the wind roared. The first blast of the storm slammed into camp like a freight train. Sand struck the tents so hard the fabric rattled like gunfire. Through the swirling dust, I saw something strange on the edge of camp. A figure, walking through the storm. At first I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. No one could walk through that wind. But the figure moved steadily closer. Tall. Graceful. Wrapped in a cloak of dark blue material that whipped violently in the gale. And when the lightning flashed across the sky, I saw her face. She wasn't human. The camp had been warned that Kalaris 9 hosted several indigenous species. Most avoided our settlements, but this one had clearly chosen not to. She reached the edge of the tents just as the wind intensified again. A blast of sand knocked her sideways. Without thinking, I ran out. "Hey!" I shouted over the storm. "This way." She looked at me. Her eyes glowed faintly silver in the lightning. For a moment she hesitated. Then she followed. We fought our way back to my tent, and I pulled the flap closed behind us. The wind howled outside. Inside, there was only the sound of the heater humming. For a few seconds, neither of us spoke. The alien woman lowered her hood. Up close, she looked even stranger. Her skin had a faint blue-white glow, like moonlight on ice. Long silver hair flowed over her shoulders. Delicate patterns, almost like natural tattoos, ran along her temples and neck. But her expression wasn't threatening. It was cautious, curious. "You helped me," she said slowly. Her voice carried a soft melodic accent, but the translator implant in my ear did its job. "Yeah," I said. "Storm's not exactly welcoming out there." She looked around the tent. "This shelter is yours?" "Yeah. Temporary field housing." She studied me for a moment. Then she nodded once. "I thank you." Outside, the storm grew worse. The wind screamed across the desert with terrifying force. Sand hammered the tent walls like shrapnel. I checked the anchor lines again just to be safe. "You traveling alone?" I asked. She hesitated. "Yes." "During a superstorm?" She gave a small, amused smile. I did not expect the weather to change so quickly. "Yeah," I said. "Happens a lot here." She stepped closer to the heater, holding her hands toward the warmth. "Your species builds fragile shelters," she said thoughtfully. I laughed. "Trust me. Compared to the portable shelters the survey team uses, this is luxury." She tilted her head. "You are a soldier?" "Former," I said. "Now I run security for the research crew." Her silver eyes studied me more closely. "You are different from the others in the camp." "Oh." They looked at me with fear when I approached earlier. "That's because most people don't expect aliens to casually stroll into camp during a sandstorm." She considered that. "Perhaps." Thunder cracked overhead. For a while we just sat quietly while the storm raged outside. Eventually she spoke again. "My name is Lethra." Ryan Carter, I said. She repeated it carefully. Ryan. Then she looked at the tent wall as the wind roared again. Your shelter is stronger than it appears. Good thing, I said. Storms on Kalaris. 9 can last all night. Her eyebrows lifted slightly. All night. Sometimes longer. For the first time, she looked genuinely surprised. My people rarely travel during storms. The desert becomes violent. Yeah, I said. We noticed. Another flash of lightning illuminated the tent. For a brief second, her glowing skin lit the entire interior like a lantern. That's new, I said. She glanced down at herself. A biological reaction to atmospheric charge. Handy. She smiled faintly. Hours passed. The storm never slowed. At some point, I gave her one of the spare ration packs. She examined it like a scientist before opening it. You trust strangers easily, she said. Not really, I replied. But you looked like you needed help. She studied my face carefully. My people say humans are unpredictable. That's polite. She laughed softly. The sound was surprisingly warm. Eventually, she asked something unexpected. Why does your species come to worlds like this? I shrugged. Curiosity, opportunity, survival. Take your pick. But this planet is harsh. So was Earth once. She leaned back against one of the supply crates. You are explorers. Something like that. Outside, the storm finally began to weaken. The violent wind softened to a steady howl, but it was still too dangerous to travel. Lethra seemed thoughtful now. After a long silence, she said, Your camp will ask questions in the morning. Oh, definitely. She raised an eyebrow. Does this concern you? Honestly, I said. Yeah, a little. Because I am alien? No, I said. Because the entire camp saw me drag you into my tent during a superstorm. For a moment, she didn't react. Then realization dawned. And she laughed again, this time much harder. Your people will assume something improper? Probably. That is amusing. Glad someone thinks so. She looked at me carefully. Did you invite me here for such purposes? Absolutely not. Good, she said calmly. Because my species has very strict courtship rituals. I raised both hands. Noted. Eventually, exhaustion caught up with both of us. I leaned back against my pack. Lethra sat quietly near the heater. Outside, the storm slowly faded into silence. Morning arrived with bright golden sunlight. I woke to voices outside the tent. A lot of voices. I groaned. Yep, I muttered. They're here. Lethra looked toward the entrance curiously. You expected this? Oh yeah. Then someone shouted, Carter, open up. I recognized Morales immediately. 5 seconds. I called. Lethra looked amused. Your commander sounds irritated. She always does. I stepped outside. The entire camp was waiting. Scientists, engineers, security crew, all staring. Morales folded her arms. So, she said slowly, want to explain why an alien woman spent the night in your tent? Behind me, Lethra stepped out. The camp went silent. Every single person froze. Morales blinked. Well, she muttered, that answers one question. Lethra looked around calmly. Her silver eyes studied everyone. You are the leaders of the settlement? Morales straightened. Yes. Lieutenant Elena Morales. I am Lethra of the Aurelian clans. That name triggered immediate reactions among the xenobiologists. One of them whispered, The Aurelians are real? Another said, they're supposed to be extremely isolationist. Morales glanced at me. Carter, she said quietly, you invited a legendary alien species into camp? She was stuck in a storm. Lethra stepped forward. Your companion offered shelter without fear or hostility. She looked directly at Morales. This act carries great meaning among my people. Morales frowned slightly. Meaning? Lethra nodded. Yes. She turned to face the entire camp. In Aurelian tradition, offering sanctuary during a life-threatening storm establishes a bond of trust. The scientists leaned forward. Bond, someone asked. Lethra looked back at me briefly. Then she said something that none of us expected. My people have watched humans from afar for many years. The camp went completely still. We believed your species to be dangerous, chaotic, unpredictable. A few people glanced at me. Fair. But last night, she continued, one human offered protection to a stranger without hesitation. She gestured toward me. This act has changed our judgment. Morales blinked again. You're saying? Lethra smiled softly. My people wish to meet yours. The scientists erupted into excited whispers. First contact. Real contact. Morales looked stunned. All because Carter offered you a tent. Lethra nodded. In the desert, survival depends on trust. She looked around at the camp. And humans, it seems, understand this better than we believed. Then she turned to me. My clan will arrive by sunset. I stared at her. Wait, your whole clan? Yes. Morales rubbed her temples. Carter. Yeah. You just accidentally started humanity's first alliance with a hidden alien civilization. I sighed. All I did was share a tent. Lethra smiled again. Sometimes, she said gently, history begins with small kindness. By evening, ships appeared on the horizon, silver vessels gliding silently through the desert sky. The Aurelians had come, and all because one stormy night, a human decided that no one, alien or not, should face the desert alone. That day became famous across two civilizations. But the camp never forgot the real story. The alien woman who spent the storm in a human tent. And the questions everyone had the next morning. The answers, it turned out, changed the future.